Welcome back, everyone. We love our pets, but sometimes they behave badly, and it's hard to understand what the root of the problem is. So, here to help us have some idea or a better idea of what is causing the bad behavior and what to do about it is Dr. Rebecca Greenstein. Hi.
Hi, how are you guys?
We're doing great, but maybe some of our pets aren't. Listen, our viewers have been really amazing. They've sent us a ton of questions for you, so we're going to dive right in. We really, really need your help. So this is coming in from one of our viewers named Sheila, and she writes, "My dog Pino stares at me and whines even after I've walked him and fed him breakfast. I don't understand what he's looking for. Attention?" What's going on, Doc?
I can relate. I grew up with a miniature dachshund, and we called him the Wicked Wiener for a reason. Basically, all he ever did was whine. And in an effort to understand what the heck this guy was whining about, we would do anything. We would offer him food, we would take him for walks, we would give him endless treats, all just to get him to be quiet and just stop the ruckus. So pets will do whatever it is that's reinforcing. So the more that he whined and we rewarded him, we basically taught him, keep whining. The rewards just keep coming. The trick is if all of your pets' needs are met and they're still whining, don't negotiate with terrorists. Ignore the whining as hard as it is. And then once they've calmed down, that's when you reward them with either a treat or the attention that they're really seeking.
Okay. Well, the next question comes from me, Rebecca. As you know, we have two beagles, Barney and Elvis. Elvis is the bad one. He is a food stealer. He will jump up on every surface, including the kitchen counter, put both his paws up, and steal food. We have tried to correct it. We have said no. We have said bad boy. We have said not for you. We have pushed him off. It doesn't work. What can we do about our food thief?
Okay, Lainey, I'm not gonna lie to you. You are the owner of a stubborn beagle. So you already know that these guys are hardwired to pursue food. So we are 100% on the losing side of this. However, I'm still gonna try to help. The main thing here is that Barney is looking, and Elvis, they're looking for rewards because at some point in the past, counter surfing was a really productive endeavor for them. So once they got that reward, oh my God, they're going to keep trying and trying. So in your house, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I wouldn't be putting food on the counter. It's just too tempting. And even if once in a blue moon they're able to get the reward, you're just going to teach them to keep trying. So this is a question of restricting access, keeping those counters clear. And if you do catch them in the act, then a very firm and calm no is in order. And you want to reward them once they get fully down, but far, far away from the kitchen.
Hmm. Okay, so yeah, a lot of dog questions, especially because you have two dog owners here, but we do have cat questions as well. This is from Tiffany, and she writes, "Our cat Spooky keeps scratching the couch, even though we put a scratching post next to it with catnip. Look at Spooky, but he's so cute. I spray the couch with peppermint oil, but it's not a permanent solution because the scent wears off. He's well exercised, so he doesn't scratch out of boredom. Not sure what else to do." Oh.
Look at that
So
face.
cats are their own entity, and deciphering the mysteries of cats, well, that's 50 segments. But basically, when it comes to scratching, it's not a question of if, it's a question of where. Speaking of hardwired, these guys are hardwired to do this. It's actually a pretty serious issue when it comes to destructive behaviors because it's the number one reason why cats are abandoned or surrendered because it's really frustrating to deal with. So first off, I want to reassure Spooky's owners, she's on the right track. So the idea is rewarding them for what you want them to do. And when we scratch in the desirable area, we get a reward. You can also help to attract a cat to the scratching post by using a synthetic pheromone or a synthetic scent hormone. Helps them to understand, okay, that's where I want to do it. Uh, you know, trying to keep them from a particular area, you can use, let's say, a cat repellent spray to discourage them. But the reality is just remove access, at least temporarily. Take that furniture away. Keeping their nails short or even putting on silicone nail caps can be really helpful.
So here's our next viewer question from Terry, who seems to have a little bit of a noise problem. Terry writes, we have a 9-year-old chocolate lab named Katie, and she barks all the time at anyone passing by. We tried it all and nothing works. Other than the barking, she's perfect. Rebecca, what can Terry do about the barking?
Poor Terry, poor Katie. This is such a common concern. But like so many behavioral issues, it really helps to understand what's motivating this behavior. What is in Katie's head? Is she trying to defend her human? Is she patrolling her territory? Has she had a bad experience with strangers or other noises? And that can really help to decipher the whole thing. This type of situation actually is working for Katie because let's say she barks at a stranger and then suddenly they cross the street. Guess what? She achieved her outcome. The unfortunate part is she didn't achieve ours. So, couple tips here. This is just a question of avoiding certain situations. So, if you have a dog who's super barky, this is not someone you want sitting on a window seat or being left for hours in the backyard on a leash or sitting by the porch. So you definitely want to remove some of those potential triggers. And the other part is if they're barking, the last thing that you want to do is yell at them because it raises the energy in a really already jazzed up situation. Now, it's going to take time, it's going to take patience, but if Katie simmers down a little bit that and gets a reward, over time, she'll start to learn that, wait, being quiet is actually a pretty rewarding exercise, and then we can get to a better place with all this.
Yeah, that catch them when they're good thing. Okay, so Cleo is up. She's my COVID canine. She is still a puppy. And what is very common with puppies is chewing. And this is where I believe the spirit of Sultan, my last Dobie, has come through because she is consistently doing what he did, getting shoes and chewing them. Expensive. How the heck do we stop puppies in particular, from chewing?
It's important to just automatically assume that they're going to eat your stuff, okay? Young puppies right from the get-go are not to be trusted, okay? You don't let them have free reign of the house, especially if you value anything in that house. So block off certain areas, make sure they're kept in a puppy-proof area. Even if they just pick a sock up and they've never swallowed it before, just wait. I'll be seeing you when they do, okay? The other part is sometimes we can redirect this behavior to something a little less expensive than a Louboutin, but we redirect it by giving them appropriate chew toys and just keeping them away from all of this potential damage.
Oh, puppy life.
Okay, this is a question coming from Sean next, whose cat is having some litter box issues. So Sean writes, once in a while, our cat, Steve McQueen, nice, love that, he will face the inside of the litter box and then pee over the wall and on the floor. We put garbage bags around the litter box, but then he started to pee directly on the garbage bags. Why is Steve McQueen doing this?
The first thing that most owners jump to is that peeing outside the litter box is some kind of personal attack on them, like they're leaving a bad Yelp review. But the reality is, so even though it doesn't take very much for a cat to pee in an inappropriate place. Sometimes you change the litter box location or you change the brand of litter and that displeases them to some extent. There are actually a lot of legitimate medical reasons why this may be. So don't get Steve McQueen twisted. There are conditions such as fluted feline lower urinary tract disease that disproportionately affect young male neutered cats that can actually show up in their earliest stages as just peeing all over the place. And owners will mistake it for a behavioral problem. So fluted, it causes inflammation of the bladder, sometimes with the formation of crystals, difficulty peeing. So be on the lookout. If it's peeing outside the litter box that progresses to frequent urination, straining in the litter box, yowling in the litter box, blood in the urine, or just the cat overall doesn't seem like they're feeling well, then it's time for a trip to the vet. Most importantly, if you notice that your cat is straining and producing absolutely nothing at all, then this may be a sign of a potentially life-threatening urinary obstruction. Get yourself to ER immediately.
Okay, thanks, Rebecca, for that. We have one more question from Crystal, and Crystal's having issues while walking her dog. So she wants to know, how do I get my little Jack Boston mix Finnegan, look at Finnegan's ears, Finnegan to stop jumping and stop pulling at his leash that he's almost choking himself.
So let's start with this part. Heeling on a leash should be considered a basic obedience skill. Most dog owners, and myself included, I'm guilty of it, we're used to just being dragged along for the ride on a walk. Your dog just sniffs at heart's
Correct.
content. They yank you here, they yank you here, and you're kind of just their servant, and you just, whatever it is. But
Yes.
the whole point is
Yes.
take back the walk. You are in charge. You are the owner, and they are the pet. So from the get-go, just make sure that you have them on a very short leash. An extendable leash gives them a little bit too much free rein. They start yanking, that's it. The fun's over. And then the walk pauses. And then they calm down. You reward them either with a treat or with praise. And then they can get motoring again. With a little bit of consistency, walks can be fun for everyone and a heck of a lot safer. The traction from pulling on their leash is really damaging to their airways and delicate structures of the throat. But it just makes the whole act of walking so much easier when everyone's on the same page.
Oh, this is like so timely right now, Rebecca. We thank you for all of these tips, and I think you're going to have a lot more happier households as a result. Thanks so much for these.
So welcome.
And we've got all of these tips up on our website, so please check it out there. More social after this.